Hold on, okay. All right.
I always like to talk about my old days, how tough it was. And I can still remember that one time when we lived up on Big Dry. And Daddy and I, we were sitting around just talking. And we had some watermelon seeds and a few packets of other kind of seeds that we, picked up here and there during the time when they were cheap. And I mean cheap, like 10 cents a pack. So we were sitting around talking. And I said, yeah, it'd be nice, to have a garden. But I said, what are we going to use to take care of our garden with? I said, we don't even have any tools, garden tools. I said, how are we going to take care of it? Daddy said, well, we got a shovel. He said, that's good enough. Shovel's good enough. There you got hands, he said. Said you can go out there and pull weeds and things like that, he said. Always learn how to use things that you got, he said. That way, he said, you're never stuck with doing nothing, he said. Come, all right, well, let's go look around. So we went out and was spotting around for our garden spot. And he said, there's no water up here. So we said, you got to pack water. I said, yeah. So we went down and all along that little ridge top where the creek was, because it was in a little gully. And I told him, I said, well, I guess I can pack water out here, I told him. He said, all right. So he went and got his shovel and he started digging. And just at that time, we had a few rotten potatoes, they were going bad. And a couple of them had sprouts already. So we dug holes and we put those potatoes in. Then we went and cut some of that dirt so that we could put in seeds. We made little hills for our cantaloupe. And I remember we had carrots, and Daddy loved turnips. So we had a pack of turnips. And he said, boy, I wish I had a rutabaga package, he said. Those were his favorites. Turnips and rutabagas. They were mine too. Anyway, we did what we had, and our little patch of garden, it was only about, I would say about 4 feet by maybe 8 feet in there.
You're making noise.
So this little garden of ours, yeah. it was small.
You're making noise.
Anyway, after we got our garden put in, we went and we were sitting around. Mom had made lunch, so we went and had lunch. And while we were sitting there, it started to rain. Rain just really hard. Daddy got worried. He said, hey, he said, it's going to wash our seeds away. He said. And I told him, I said, oh, well, we'll wind up having a cantaloupe over here, maybe one over there. I told him. I was teasing him. He said, oh, you, he told me. So we got to laughing. We got Mama to laughing. We all joined in. We was having fun talking about finding vegetables here and there. Anyway, it quit raining, and then we just went about our business, and we forgot about the garden. One morning, but 4 days later, I woke up and I was thinking, gee whiz, we planted the garden. Wonder if there's anything growing. So I got up early and I took a little lard bucket, 8-pound lard bucket. I went down to the creek and I got me some water and I was watering that. All those rows we put in, I watered them. Pour it little at a time going down the line. By the time I got done, well, the garden was pretty wet. I don't know how many trips I made. But anyway, I watered our garden. I went and took care of the chickens, and by that time my mom and daddy got up. So he said, "Oh, gee whiz, I wish I had some eggs," he said. I told him, I found some eggs. I said, "We got eggs." He said, "Did you feed them already?" And I said, "Yeah, I fed them." He laughed at me. He said, "You said you don't even have to be told to do anything." He said, "You just do everything by yourself." He told me. And he said, "Well, I got to go down and look at our garden." He said, "It might need water." I told him, "I already watered it." I told him. "You took care of that too?" And I said, "Yeah." Anyway, talking about how poor we were. We didn't have any tools to work with, just a shovel. And it was all beat up and everything. But anyway, Dad used it. We used it to fence with. Went and borrowed a crowbar from the old man, Dad's dad. And we put in our fence with it. Crowbar and an old beat up shovel. And a can, so I could dig out dirt out of the holes when he dug them. Anyway, we got done with our fencing and everything, and that one day we went to the dump. We were looking around down the dumps, and I found a rake head. I told Daddy, I said, "Look," I said, "there's a rake head over here." "Hey," he said, "that's a good one." He said, "Put it in the car." So I went and put it in the car, and he was digging around, and we found what we call a Mexican shovel. It's a little bitty stubby hoe. Had a little short stubby handle on it. It was in good shape. So we took that and we put it in the car. And that's what I used to help raise our garden with. Take and cut all the weeds off. Soften up the dirt. And you know what? Out of that little garden, we had a pretty good sized garden. We had a lot of potatoes, carrots. And then I went out and gathered some wild onions. And we had a pot of stew that was the best I ever ate. And that's why I said I grew up poor, but you know what? I learned how to do things. I learned how to survive on what little we had. And when I see the young people nowadays that they got everything. Money, cars. If they needed tools, they could go buy it. Have everything brand new if they wanted. I grew up finding things that I could renovate or fix it so I could use it. That's how I grew up. I learned how to do things, use things that other people wouldn't even think of using. And I see people now that, "Oh, I can't do that. I don't have that. I can't do that because I don't have a machine to work with." What's wrong with your hands? What's wrong with your feet? What's wrong with an old beat up shovel? Things like that. Things to do things with. An 8-pound lard bucket. That's what I use to water our garden. I bet you none of you out there, young people, could do that today. you're too tired. I don't want to do that. It's too hard. Well, one of these days you might have to learn how to do things in order to survive. As these white people, they're finding ways to get rid of us. Sickness, disease. They're getting more disease. It takes only 3 days to kill you. A long time ago, you got sick. You found some wild medicine out there to get rid of it. Or you had some old man that knew how to poke your throat. If you had sore throat, poked your throat, got it over with. You're okay next morning. Get up, you're all right. Maybe one of your relatives have power in their hands that have fever. Press you all over. Next morning your fever's gone. That's how close to nature we were at one time. Gain power from the ground, the air, water, even the sagebrush out there. And nowadays we're going to have fancy medicines, some of them which make us sick, compound the disease that you've got, kill you off. And we forget our Creator when we get that way. When we get sick, we forget our Creator. Some people say we got no God. You're damn right we got a God. You wouldn't be here if we didn't. But that's my words for today. I want you to think about it. Do a little growing up in your mind. Take care of your place where you live. Help out. Do things. Clean up. Take care of things. Even if your old people can't take care of it. Pick up rocks and pile them somewhere. Get rid of the tall grass, weeds. Do something with your life. You don't have to lay around and expect people to take care of you. Young people are lazy. And a lot of them don't know how to do anything. A lot of them don't even know how to cook or wash dishes or take care of yourself. They don't even know how to sew. All my brothers learned how to sew, learned how to beadwork. They learned how to cook. They could take care of themselves. Mom and I, we taught all our siblings how to do things. Because our dad, he believed that, you should be able to take care of yourself when you get older. That's what he always said. Learn how to do things. That way you're not helpless. You can survive. That was the teaching I had when I was growing up. So think about it. Do a little growing up. You'll be happier. That's all I gotta say.